Good morning. I don't know if anybody's here yet. I am a couple of minutes before 10. So I have been thinking a lot about the purpose of yoga as most Westerners, Americans see it. So many of us think of the word yoga as meaning postures. The postures are actually called asanas. And hatha yoga, or the type of yoga that we do when we practice postures, is just one aspect of what yoga really is. And hatha yoga was actually developed as a way of preparing people to be able to meditate, to be able to sit and meditate. First of all, so that they could physically sit, and also so that they could learn to be still with their minds. Hey, so I start with that explanation of yoga because many Westerners do asana practice, a hatha yoga practice, but at the same time will often say, "Oh, I can't meditate." So I've been an on and off meditator for 40 years, almost 40 years. And I say on and off, and that's truly what it is. Times when I meditate regularly and times when I don't. That is up until last year. When I first started meditating, I started meditating from a sense of some spiritual seeking and searching for a sort of a spiritual connection, spiritual purpose. But how I see meditation now, today, the original purpose was definitely spiritual. But for the purposes of the lives that we're living today, meditation is incredibly practical. It serves some practical functions to help us to navigate these really troubled lives that we're living right now. So that said, I just want to say that I had a really tough week this past week. You know, one would think that there would have been a lot of jubilation when Derek Chauvin was convicted. And momentarily there was. I mean, the first thing I put on Facebook was hallelujah. But in less than 24 hours, I took that hallelujah back. So the trauma of living with continued murder of black people by police is so much more overwhelming than that one momentary victory. And what I was feeling in my body, and this is where meditation, really is useful. What I was feeling in my body, I was trying to tamp down, to not deal with. I didn't want to deal with the rage, the sadness, the frustration that I was experiencing. And this is what we often do. We will do anything not to deal with those difficult emotions. And fortunately for me, I follow a lot of great meditation teachers, and I happened to do a meditation that allowed me, that encouraged me to be with those emotions, to actually acknowledge them. And miracle of miracles, by just acknowledging, by sitting with how it felt in my body, sitting with how it felt in my mind, allowed me to release those horrible, negative, unhelpful emotions. So what I want to do today is to actually look at yoga, at the practice of postures, moving our body, as completely secondary to how we focus our breath, and really allow us to connect with how we're feeling. Okay, so we're going to do a very, very minimally moving practice today, and the focus is going to be almost entirely on our breath. Okay, so let's go to the mats. Max, where are you? Come back up here. Come on. Up here. Up on the sofa. So let's just start by sitting in a comfortable position. Whatever position feels comfortable for you, but just make sure that you try to keep your spine nice and long. So you can close your eyes completely, you can soften your gaze and just kind of gaze down at the floor, whatever feels natural for you. Closing the eyes allows us to actually go a little bit deeper inside and not be distracted, but if just softening your gaze works better, that's fine. So take a moment now and really just connect to your body. What do you feel in your body? Now, I'm not just talking about aches or pains, which we might feel from sitting cross-legged, but I want you to see if you can go a little bit deeper and just feel where any emotions that you have been experiencing are in your body. So notice if you are tightening up your shoulders. Notice if there's a tightness in your belly. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. Just really take a deep dive into how your body feels emotionally. Now take a moment and just shift your attention to your mind. What's going through your mind right now? It might be something like, I didn't come to a 30-minute yoga practice to talk about horrible things like cops killing black people. But yoga is life. Yoga is reality. And it isn't meant to separate us from that. All right, so go ahead now and just lie down on your mat. And we're going to really, really, really pay close attention to our breathing. So take both of your hands, touch your middle fingers like this, and place them right on your belly. So I want the middle fingers to be touching. Let the rest of the fingers just kind of spread out over your belly. Low belly, so down closer to your navel, below your navel actually. And now with your middle fingers touching, I want you to take as big an inhale as you can to feel your middle fingers separate as far as possible. And then exhale until you feel the middle fingers touching again. Do that a couple more times. Inhale into the belly until the middle fingers separate as far as possible. And exhale until the middle fingers are touching again. So really feel the depth of your breath. Now take one hand, I'm going to take my right hand, and place it right along the side of your body. So not up here, you don't have to just stretch your arm out to the side, and place the hand right on the side of your ribs, whichever hand you're using. Now inhale into the belly, and feel yourself continuing that inhalation into the hand that's on your ribs. So feel the ribs expand underneath your hand, and your fingers will probably spread. And then as you exhale, feel the ribs contract back in and the belly descend. A couple more times. Start breathing through into the belly. Continue that inhalation up into the ribs. And when you exhale, feel the ribs move back together again and the belly descend. Now take the hand that's on your belly and place it on your upper chest, just below the neck. Now still start the breath in your belly, but there's no hand there. Continue up into the ribs. Continue that inhalation all the way until you feel the hand on your chest lift. Exhale, see if you can feel the chest descend, then the ribs descend, and finally the belly descend back towards your spine. And do that a couple more times. Starting in the belly, into the ribs, all the way up into the upper chest. Exhale, feel the chest descend, the ribs contract, and the belly descend. And then after you finish your next exhalation, go ahead now and rest, relax your hands at your sides and try that with no hands. That deep inhalation that begins in your belly and ends in your upper chest, and the exhalation that begins in the upper chest and ends at your belly. Now take your arms overhead. After you finish that your next exhalation, arms overhead. Now this time I want you to inhale, and as you inhale, really imagine that you're inhaling all the way out through your fingertips. So start in the belly, but continue that inhalation as you stretch the torso, lengthening all the way out into the fingertips, through the fingertips, and then as you exhale, feel the exhalation moving back down your body and stretching all the way out through your toes. And do that again. Okay, so for the rest of the class, our movements are going to be all connected to our breathing. So start by lifting your right leg, inhale, and as you inhale, clasp the knee and pull it in. Finish the inhalation as you pull that knee in. Exhale, stretch the leg all the way back out. Just release the leg back out. So back and forth. Inhale. The same deep inhalations and exhalations though, so nice and slow. Every inhale, you're pulling that knee in towards your chest, and every exhalation, you're stretching that right leg all the way back out onto the floor. Next time you exhale out on the left leg, we're going to switch sides now. So we're going to, the right leg, inhale, pulling that left leg. next time you exhale out the left leg, just go ahead and leave that. And then now, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, take your arms out to the side. And this time we're going to inhale from center, so take a nice long inhalation, even though there's no movement here. Exhale, drop your knees to the right as you turn your head to the left. Finish the exhalation completely before you start that nice slow inhalation back up. Exhale, drop your knees to the left, turn your head to the right. So just back and forth, but let the breath be the guide. Don't start the next part of the movement until you finish the part of the breath that you're on. And the next time you inhale up from the left, just go ahead and stay there. Keep the left leg bent, stretch out the right leg. You can keep your arms out to the side. Inhale, lift your right leg straight up, all the way up. Exhale, take it out to the side. Inhale up. Exhale, back down to the floor. So that's the movement with the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Next time you exhale down, the leg straight up, straight back down. Go ahead and stop there. Now we're going to do the other side. So stretch out the right leg, keep the left leg bent. I'm not sure, I'm going to slide over this way a little bit just so I have enough room. So inhale up with the left leg, exhale out to the side. Inhale back up. Exhale back down to the floor. And the next time you exhale your left leg back down in front, go ahead and stop. Either roll over or rock yourself up to seated. And come on up onto a blanket. And come to a comfortable seated position. Okay, so take your arms straight out to the side. I am not mirroring you. I'm not mirroring you. So you're going to take your left arm to your right knee, right arm behind your back. Okay, so we're going to just do twists. Inhaling, so lengthen the spine here. Exhale, take the twist. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the back. And twist. Same thing. Make the movements, coordinate with those deep breaths. Don't start the next part of the movement until you finish the part of the breath you're on. And the next time you come back from the left, let's just come back to center. Let's take the arms back out, and this time you're going to take your right hand or finger's hand or forearm to the floor as you take your left arm overhead to the right. So inhale again, we're going to start with that lengthening the torso. Exhale, stretching over to the right. Inhale, finish the inhalation. Exhale to the left. Finish the exhalation. Next time you inhale back up from the left, come back up to center. One of the other important things about yoga, especially as it's related to trying to be with emotions and to settle emotions and to come back to a place of equilibrium, because you know that's what it's all about, is equanimity and equilibrium, finding a place to be at peace, at rest, in the face of emotions that may be very tumultuous. And so one of the ways, if you're doing an asana practice, is to stay close to the ground. In other words, staying connected to the earth helps to calm us down. So you'll notice that we're doing this entire practice pretty much on the floor today. So let's inhale as you take your arms overhead. Exhale, let yourself fall forward, however far forward that is for your body. Finish the exhalation. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. When you finish that next exhalation, come on back up. Let's come up to all fours. Come into table pose. Good. So for this one, we're going to inhale as we straighten the right leg straight out behind us. Exhale, bringing that right knee in towards our nose, nose towards the knee. So inhale. Remember to finish each part of the exhalation, of the breath with the movement. So nice and slow. When you finish your next exhalation on the right side, we're going to change sides. So inhale as you stretch the left leg straight out. Exhale as you bring it in. next time you finish on the with your exhalation on the left side, come back to center. Let's come up onto your knees. And we're going to inhale, take the arms up, take a little back bend, and exhale, come down into child's pose. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. And after your next exhalation, let's come back onto your back. Actually, change my mind. Let's come back to seated. Into whatever is your comfortable seated pose. Lengthen your spine up. Now just sit here with your breath natural. So you might find that your natural breath will now be a little bit longer than it was before we started. So not taking any particular effort to deepen your breath, but just see how the breath feels in your body now. And if your mind starts chattering away, either into the past, into the future, or maybe it's very present, but it's, giving you a lot of grief, criticizing, coming up with negative things, see if you can just stay focused on your breathing and then allow a little smile to cross your face, your lips. Now you can do that either by thinking of something that would just naturally make you smile, like a child, a grandchild, a pet. Or you can just let the smile be organic. You can fake it till you make it. But just know that actually just simply smiling does actually release a brain chemical that makes you feel better. See if you can feel that just by allowing the corners of your mouth to turn up, your shoulders will naturally relax down. And then after your next exhalation, if your eyes were closed, you can open them. So the point of this little practice today is to let you know how much power there is in just this awareness and this connection between your breath and your body. I would like to recommend to all of you. I may have said this before, or since I've been teaching these Friday freebies, I don't remember. But there is I know you've probably all tried or know of some meditation apps. Calm is a big one because they do a lot of marketing. I don't particularly think of Calm as a great app, except for maybe sleeping or just listening to calming music. But I do want to recommend the 10% Happier app. I want to recommend two things. The 10% Happier podcast, which is just one of the most practical, uplifting podcasts about the benefits of meditation with some really great teachers and some really great topics. They're doing a 2 weeks session of podcasts on hope, which is an interesting thing because I, for a lot of reasons, was actually starting to feel hope drain out of my body. And I didn't like that feeling. And so it just was so fortuitous that the 10% Happier, Dan Harris is the founder of the 10% Happier podcast and app. He wrote a book called 10% Happier probably 10 years ago maybe, after he found how practically, he's a real, not spiritual, not woo-woo, not at all, but he has found this entire change in his life through meditation. So the 10% Happier podcast and the 10% Happier app, and you can go on there, and I think you can get like a 30-day free access and then see if you like it, and then it's not very expensive. I think it's like $100 a year or something like that, or maybe not even that much, maybe $80 a year, something like that. But I just want you to know that this, in all my years of meditation, this particular app and podcast have really changed my life, particularly during the pandemic and particularly with all of the social justice issues that have just, devastated many of us mentally. I just find that it really, really does help me. So you might find it helpful as well. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next week, I hope. Let's just bring the palms of our hands together.